Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the maiden edition of the Nova Insight Series webinar, proudly hosted by Nova Bank. This session brings together some of the sharpest and brightest minds and policy influencers in the Nigerian financial sector, leaders with the experience, the insight, and the authority to guide both businesses and institutions through the complexities of today's evolving currency and trade environment.
Today, we're honored to have the Director of Trade and Exchange at the Central Bank of Nigeria join us. The Director, Musa Nakorji, will be sharing insights on policies shaping trade and exchange today. Our Group Head Operations, Chijioke Uzoukwu, would also be sharing insights with us today. As we begin, I encourage everyone to take full advantage of the conversations this afternoon. Please ask questions, take notes, and connect with the ideas that matter most to your businesses. Thank you for joining us today, and let's get started. Thank you so much. Back to you, Omoye.
Thank you. Amazing. That was amazing, CI. Thank you very much. We are honored, right, to welcome Mr. Musa Nakorji, the Director of Trade and Exchange at the Central Bank of Nigeria, a respected thought leader and policy architect. Mr. Nakorji has been instrumental in shaping Nigeria's FX and trade policy reforms. So thank you very much for honoring our invitation and for having us join us today. The floor is yours. Please go ahead.
So, good afternoon, everyone. First, the management of Nova Bank, distinguished stakeholders, and ladies and gentlemen. It is a great pleasure for me to be here today on this very important engagement to discuss the topic, navigating the new FX landscape and trade finance dynamics in Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, let me briefly outline some of the reforms the central bank has actually undertaken in the FX space. When this regime came into power, they took some bold steps towards enforcing some reforms in the exchange rate market. The first thing that was done was the unification of the exchange rate. Prior to this period, we had different windows of exchange rate. But when this regime came on board, based on the observations of some of our trading partners and our some of the rating agencies, the bank was actually compelled to adopt international best practices by unifying the exchange rate. The trading was also guided by market clearing rate model, and also emphasis was placed on transparency, and based on which central bank actually issued circulars to that effect. We also review the DMB's position in terms of NOP to minus 20% on short and 0 on long time. Dollar-denominated asset was also introduced into the market, and new guidelines was issued for BDCs. The bank also took the bold steps of introducing the Blue Bank B-Match system, whereby trading in that FX space became more transparent. The Nigerian Foreign Exchange Code was also introduced by the bank. So these are the few reforms that central bank actually did when the new regime came on board. And in terms of, because when you look at the liquidity and the stability of foreign exchange, it goes beyond the FX market, beyond the DMBs alone. We also have some other participants within that space. For instance, the international, the IMTOs, who usually from time to time at least inflow FX into the country. So the bank issued guidelines to guide the operation in terms of the IMTOs. And this has been a very, very good success, because in terms of remittances from that space, it has actually gone up. The bank also took some decision in terms of export proceeds repatriation, whereby policies were actually introduced for the oil export repatriation covers 90 days, while the non-oil export repatriation was pegged at 180 days. The bank also came up with a reform whereby a new policy was actually introduced in terms of the non-resident BVN. And the non-resident BVN was launched, I think, about 2-3 months back, whereby we expected BNBs to actually participate in that space. There are two accounts to this non-BVN, whereby we have the non-resident ordinary account and the non-resident investment account. So the people we have in diaspora, they can actually leverage on these two products, whereby if they have the intention for investment, they can inflow funds into this account. If it's for personal usage, there's the non-resident ordinary account, which can also cover for that. So these are maybe some of the bold steps that the banks actually took towards reforming the foreign exchange space. And this has actually led to, or rather, has actually stabilized the rate and increased liquidity within the market. Then in terms of the trade monitoring system, the bank actually automated that space whereby the application in respect of from M or from A can be done through the digital space. Now, recently, we also issued a circular regarding the Pan-African payment system, whereby in that circular, it was stated that little transaction within the value, between the value of 5,000 for corporate and 2,000 for individual can be done on this particular platform. So let me quickly speak to this. For this PAPS transaction, it has actually waived documentation in respect of Form M. People that trade between each other within the maybe the African region can take advantage of these PAPs. The pegging is $2,000 for individuals and $5,000 for corporate entity. But the aspect of the KYC is still the responsibility of the banks to actually take care of that particular aspect. Then the product is structured in such a way that it has a pre-funding to it. So the banks that are actually participating do not have to come to the FX market. In terms of the legal documentations, assuming maybe the legal document, other legal documentation, those ones are actually maybe waived. That's when the transaction is within this range. But the moment the transaction is above this particular threshold, then based on the FX manual requirement, the other documentation requirements will now be applied. So these are the few reforms that the bank actually worked on. It's to at least expand trading within the FX market and also to stabilize the exchange rate. The forward-looking policy of the bank in terms of the strategic pillars, the bank will continue to sustain the FX liberalization with enhanced surveillance and data-driven regulation. The bank also intends to deepen non-oil foreign exchange inflows through reforms and partnership with the fiscal authority. Let me also state that in terms of trade policy, it does not fall under the purview of central bank. It's a prerogative of the fiscal authority. But the thing is, the central bank contribute in the process of this policy formulation by the virtue of maybe committees where central bank actually belongs into. So, but we occasionally or periodically relate with these people in terms of policy changes and what need to be updated. Then we're also focusing in terms of the compliance outlook for maybe on the issue of maybe prudential oversight and sectorial audit. And we're also going to maybe be enhancing scrutiny of the authorized dealer banks, particularly in trade-related FX transactions. We're also going to be collaborating with Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, EFCC, and Custom to address maybe smuggling issue, round tripping, and capital flight. Periodic spot checks are also expected to be done to audit IMTOs, exporters and importers, with emphasis on FX sourcing and utilization, record keeping, and transaction disclosures, and integration of their maybe trading platform with CBN reporting portals. Then on the aspect of sector engagement and market conduct, we're actually doing a lot. Like I've stated before, this actually falls on the purview of Federal Minister of Finance, the Federal Minister of Trade and Investment, and maybe like institution like Nigerian Export Promotion Council. But we have a very strong collaboration with them, and we're going to be partnering with them in such a way that we're able to at least maybe change or maybe change a lot of things in the area of trading, or maybe trade policies that will be beneficial to exporters and importers. We're also going to be promoting compliance with export repatriation timelines because of its very significant importance to our GDP and other things. Then we're also going to be collaborating with banks in terms of capacity building and these areas of FX trade, FX management and utilization. So within these few months, the bank has actually done a lot of things to actually expand trading, increase liquidity, and stabilize the foreign exchange. And we see those positive impact as because, for instance, now the investors are actually becoming more and more comfortable in terms of our numbers and other things. Because recently, the IMF even applauded the central bank in terms of the reforms that has been done, and also the World Bank and other rating agencies in terms of the outlook of the country based on the reforms that have been taking place has actually given us very good rating. So in terms of the policy space, as it relates to FX and other things, I think with the transformation that is happening in that space, the bank is working tirelessly towards meeting those challenges in that space. And I want to also mention again that when you look at our role as central bank, it basically has to do with the issue of improving the payment infrastructure, and at the same time, again, working on the aspect of ensuring that in terms of maybe whatever FX is being disbursed is done in such a way that the people that are actually involved in the transaction, there are some safety nets that actually protect their wealth. So the operators, in most cases, look at the aspect of profitability, but the central bank will also look at the aspect of profitability for the operators, but will also look at the safety of funds of people that are into this transaction ecosystem. So briefly in conclusion, central bank remain fully committed to building a sustainable, transparent and resilient FX ecosystem through target reforms, regulatory modernization, and enhance stakeholder collaboration. We also aim to restore confidence in the FX market and deepen Nigeria integration into global trade network. The Trade and Exchange Department stands ready to support banks, corporate entities, and investors in navigating this evolving landscape. We encourage all stakeholders to approach compliance not as a burden, but as a pathway to stability, credibility, and long-term profitability. On this note, I want to thank you for your attention, and we look forward to more engagement with Nova Bank. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think Mr. Musa Nakorji deserves a round of applause. So we're pleased to welcome Mr. Chijioke Uzoukwu, who is one of our finest in Nova Bank, the group head operations. Mr. Chijioke is a trade finance specialist with deep experience in FX, restructuring, and client advisory. He has worked with some of the largest companies in Nigeria to build resilient and profitable strategies in volatile markets. If you're wondering how to turn insight into action, Chijioke is your guy. Let's welcome him as he takes us through practical strategies for navigating trade finance and FX in 2025 and beyond. Welcome, Mr. Chijioke. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Omoye. Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone, for this opportunity to speak with you. First of all, I would like to welcome us once again to the first edition of Nova Insights series webinar titled Navigating the New FX Landscape and Trade Finance Dynamics in Nigeria. I would sincerely also appreciate our Director of Trade and Exchange for his valuable insights and for sharing such a comprehensive perspective on Nigerian involving FX and trade policy landscape. I would say clearly his remarks and presentation has really set a good tone for us to have a meaningful dialogue today as we go. Yes, our aim today is to provide actionable insights and strategic guidance in our rapidly evolving trade environment. But looking at the global and African trade context, according to AFRESIM African Trade Reports of 2025, intra-African trade surged by 12.4% in the year 2024 to reach a height of approximately 230 billion US dollar. However, this remains a mild 14.4% share of our total African trade, of which this clearly underlines both the opportunity and the urgency and the need for African markets to open itself beyond what currently exists. Yet, significant values have remained untapped due to policies, infrastructure, and the financing gap we find in the environment we currently operate on. Then coming to Nigeria, let's look at our trade and FX reality as it applies to us here. Nigerian foreign exchange trade has remained robust at approximately 110 billion US dollar. And this is despite every macroeconomic headwinds, including inflation that is nearing 23%, and with the currency fluctuation we currently find ourselves in. Yet we still have about 100 billion US annual trade finance gap, of which this has been hampering the growth of our SMEs and affecting our export and import trade dynamics. Further look at Nigerian foreign exchange framework. Like the director has clearly stated, in the year 2023, the Central Bank of Nigeria took a bold step to collapse the multiple exchange rate window that had long defined our FX structure. These windows are the I&A window, the retail windows, and the wholesale window. And alongside that also, the CBN stopped its direct intervention into the market. So what does this really mean? It simply means that the CBN no longer tries to control the rates. Instead, the CBN participates in the market like every other player. Where the CBN needs to buy or they need to sell, they come into the market to see how they can get our foreign currency stabilized. Then come another significant shift in 2024. The central bank moved from its FX trading platform to the BMAC trading platform. What is the importance of this really? Yes, the BMAC has introduced real-time transparency. The BMAC allows dealer and the bank to see live quotes, place bid and offers, and automatically matches trade without any need of manual intervention. I mean, for the first time, the FX market in Nigeria has become visible, traceable. FX market is visible and traceable and very transparent as it is now, something we have lacked for some years back. So where do we stand today? From my viewpoint, the central bank appears comfortable with the Naira trading between 105,000 to 106,000 to $1. If the rate moves beyond this threshold, there is a good chance that the CBN will step in to bring it down, not by force, but participating in the market, either by buying or selling and ensuring that the current currency rate we see do not go beyond certain thresholds. Lastly, it is important to note that the FX market is now order-based. Yes, what this means is there is no speculation, there is no proprietary trading. Bank must buy and sell based only on actual client requests. This has really reduced manipulation and ensured that the system runs on a real demand and supply basis. To add to that also, banks are expected to send in their daily NOP, that is the net open position, to CBN on a daily basis. And this they do using the platform that they trade with. And from every instruction from directive from the CBN, you are not expected to carry a position overnight. So we have gone past the era where banks come into the market trying to stockpile dollars for speculation purpose. You must send your report on a daily basis. You must send your blotter report, of which is expected to balance with what your approved NLP position is. So banks are being very careful when they trade in the BMatch platform. Funds are only bought for eligible customers, and those funds are used for the purpose of which they have been purchased for. I would say the Nigerian FX market has come a long way, which will all agree with me. We have moved from a tightly controlled environment to a more transparent and rule-driven and technology-powered framework. It is a positive shift, which has given us a strong tool to manage our liquidity, to build investors' confidence, and ultimately stabilizes the Naira in a more suitable way. Yes, let's look at our businesses as it relates to cross-border trades. In today's cross-border trade environment, many of our businesses are faced with current mismatch challenges. What does this mean? This simply happens when your revenue are in Naira and your obligations, your suppliers and your lenders are in a different currency, most cases in the US dollar, meaning the currency of which we do business in Nigeria faces challenges in ensuring that certain payments are done by our customers as the need goes by. Yes, with the Naira still facing volatility in the year 2025, despite various ongoing reforms, this mismatch continues to put pressure on our customers' margin and their financial planning. So how do businesses mitigate this risk? I think that is what we should look at and come up with some solution on how customers can work effectively and efficiently to ensure that their profits and their margins are not eroded simply by the fluctuation of our currency. First, we could consider the natural hedging method. What happened here? You try to earn in the same currency you spend. For example, if I'm importing in dollar, I will look for opportunities to create export businesses too, which will enable me to earn in dollar also. Just like the Director of Trade and Exchange has mentioned, the CBN are putting much effort in encouraging us to ensure that we imbibe the culture of backward integration, where we're expected to have some of our items manufactured here, get some of our raw materials manufactured here, which we can now convert them and export these items to needing countries, thereby generating the foreign FS that we need to get our import businesses done. I mean, some customers that I know that are into exportation, one or two of them has used their export proceeds to match their import items, not relying solely on what they are able to get from the CBN or the I&E market. So secondly, we could look at the forward contract and the hedging tools also. In Nova, we offer these products very well, and Nova will help you to lock your exchange rates and protect you from sudden rate swings. Yes, how do we do this? Our team of experts treasury make sure that we work with you from the beginning to when your payment is done. Our treasury is equipped with such knowledge and competencies to help you structure your payments with your beneficiaries, to help you ensure that you get your dollars from the onset, and these are kept and utilized as at when payment is due. The other option there is for us to optimize our working capital. I think it is good for us to keep our FS exposures in short term and avoid piling up on hedge liabilities. I mean, I had a friend who was importing on bills for collection, which we refer to as suppliers' credit to some extent. Unfortunately for him, he bought goods, say at the rate of 1,000 then, and sold them, pricing them at 1,000 and selling them. Unfortunately, his payment periods goes beyond 180 days. And by the time he was about making payments, the dollar has gone off. Of course, what does this tell? He was unable to even recover his initial cost of shipment. He was unable to bring in the same quantity of goods he brought in, which he sold at the rate of $1,000. So what was advised to him? Yes, the hedging product was sold to him, and he imbibed that. Luckily for him, his subsequent products, at the point of payment, the FS risk were not there because the dollar to make that payment at that point was already made available by the bank. And finally, I would say working closely with Nova, for instance, we offer tailored FX risk advisory services that will help your business navigate these challenges. Yes, the currency mismatch doesn't have to cripple our businesses. With the right strategies and partnering with Nova, this can be managed effectively, even in the current volatile environment like ours. So at Nova, we understand that in today's unpredictable FX climate, businesses need more than generic banking. Businesses need strategic initiatives to get their business done. This is why in Nova, we offer you tailored trade finance solutions. You can structure your trade finance solution to meet what your beneficiaries need in a way that I would say it becomes a win-win for both parties. We can offer you a trade finance solution that from the onset, you understand how it works. Our pricing is one of the best, I can tell you that. And we'll have series of solutions that we can sell to you that you can pass on to your beneficiaries to ensure that while you do your imports or exporting and while you navigate the cross-border payments, these solutions in questions are very flexible and they are secured and timely, so to say. Yes, we can offer you customized financial instruments, and this ranges from the letter of credit to the guarantees. And we'll have dedicated team that can work with you as we go to help come up with the best structure, solutions that meet your trading needs. These tools will do not only improve your transaction confidence, but also they will better your leverage in navigating with your trade partners. You help you to ensure that you have the good knowledge and understanding of what your partners need. We can walk you through from the moment you get your invoice, navigate it, and advise you properly the payment mode you can request from your beneficiary. And so we provide you with proactive risk management solutions. Yes, FX risk is real, and it is manageable. And if not well managed, the FX risk can erode our margins and still growth in our business. So at Nova, we just don't help you to transact. We help you to plan. We help you to manage your risk. We help you to structure your transactions. So reason why you should trade with Nova. Reason why we should be your bank of first choice when it comes to getting your trade transactions done. Before I wrap up, I would like to leave us with some key takeaways from our today's discussion. And we believe with our guidance, your decision-making in the week and month ahead will be one that will be beneficiary to your businesses. First, I would say adaptability is everything. The FS landscape in Nigeria is fluid and fast-moving. What worked 6 months ago may not work tomorrow. Businesses that stay alert are the ones that eventually wins, and businesses that are close to their bankers, like Nova Bank, are the ones that could get the first-hand information, first-hand policies, first-hand directive from CBN. We offer these advices to our customers to ensure that they are on top of their business. Secondly, risk is real, but like I said, it is manageable. With the right strategy in place, from the hedging products to smart trade structuring I have mentioned, you can protect your margins and reduce your exposure to currency fluctuation. That is where Nova becomes your first partner. We are ready to ensure that we walk you through the structure of your transactions. We walk you through all FS solutions that you need to make sure that your businesses do not run at a loss. Thirdly, this is a movement of opportunity, I would say. Despite the volatility, we are still seeing new policies, new tools from the central bank, new pathways for trade, and cross-border financings. Yes, in the recent time, CBN has come up with so many policies on the guidance and how trade transactions to be done. We can tell you clearly at Nova, these policies are well analyzed and advised to our customers. So Nova, I can say once again, is your customer to go through in getting your trade transactions done. Yes, I have mentioned our trade finance products that we have. We have varieties of them. We can structure your transactions to suit your LC's needs, to suit any payment mode that you have agreed with your customer. But first of all, like I said, it would be nice if we journey with you from the onset so that the payment mode that you're agreeing with your beneficiary is what we believe is workable and will help you in maximizing your profits. Well, finally, let's not walk alone, please. We need you to partner with our institution, Nova. We understand the terrain we find ourselves, that is Nigeria. We understand the business in Nigeria. We understand trade business in Nigeria. We understand trade business as it goes across the borders. And we have the tools and the necessary insights that will help you to succeed. Like I said, at Nova, we just do not transact with you. We try to partner with you and help you to create the necessary strategies that you need to move your business forward. Thank you, everyone. I think I will stop here for now and let's take some questions.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Mr. Chijioke. So to bring a close, we're going to be inviting our very own, the company secretary and our general counsel in person of Mr. Nnadozie Ohaji to give us the closing remarks as we'll close the session. Please, Jose. Thank you.
I'd like to appreciate our esteemed regulators, our Director Trade and Exchange, and his team, of course. We see that he came with his very supportive team. He has taken us through what government has done in the last couple of years to ensure that the FX regime is demystified. The unification of rates and all the other strategies that the CBN has introduced to heighten our confidence in the regime and help us do our business in the best way possible. We thank our directors, management, and of course, our esteemed shareholders and customers who have turned up en masse. I would say that I'm really, really delighted about the outpouring of our customers. They stayed from the beginning, even up until now, and they actively participated, or you actively participated because you are still here on the call. So we thank you profoundly. So to draw this to an end, I'd like to thank us all for participating. It's been a wonderful 1.5 hours of having you. Please keep an eye on this page, because this really, we intend this to be a think tank. We intend this to be where all your problems, all your business needs are met, all your investment, all your banking needs, where we intend this to be a marriage, a fusion between customers and regulators, and where we provide top-end service to all our customers. So we thank you for participating. We thank, of course, I'd have to acknowledge our group head of operations and all the good and great contributions from Wale Oluyode, Steve Olorokomi, Praveen, Oladele Akinjo, all the guys that brought in their warm comments to make this a very interactive session. The ones that we couldn't take theirs, we will take yours. Our staff will look through these comments and then reach you via your email addresses. So thank you so much for participating. And thank you, Omoye, for being wonderful at this too. Thank you.
Thank you, Nadozie. So whether you're an exporter, importer, or strategist trying to make sense of FX swings, you don't have to do it alone. Just like Nadozie had mentioned, Nova Bank is here as your trade finance and FX partner. Thank you for joining us today for the maiden edition of the Nova Insight Series webinar. Keep learning, keep growing, and see you at the next one. My name is Omoye Brema, and it's been a pleasure. Thank you.